Hi there, Jeff here from the Wetsuit Centre, talking to you today about the now famous Xcel Drylock Winter Wetsuit for 2013-2014. I say famous, basically renowned is probably a better word. The Drylock basically has been around for quite a few years now. Won the SEMA Wetsuit of the Year award probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. Pretty much for being renowned as the warmest wetsuit that money could buy and the best quality. And off of the back of that, they made quite a few changes, introducing a lot of things, and it's all sort of culminated into a wetsuit that is just basically all singing, all dancing. Every kind of bit of wetsuit technology that you could possibly get to make the suit more water repellent, warmer and more flexible is in this wetsuit, which does mean that it is jolly expensive. Yeah, sort of talking £380 in the UK, which is a hell of a price tag, but you do get what you pay for. And obviously people that use this wetsuit and follow this wetsuit and sort of stick with it and buy it every year or every couple of years will know that it is pretty much still the warmest wetsuit that money can buy. And for good reason. You're getting a huge amount of technology within this suit. So if I walk you through the sort of features and functions of the suit and let you know what you get this year and what's different from previous years, it'll be sort of interesting to get people's feedback about this particular suit and what they think about the price versus what you actually get for your money and how warm, if it's worth it, you know, that kind of thing. Because £380 is a lot of money. So, starting first off, it's called the TD3 this year, the Drylock TD3. And basically that's just really summarising the 3 main features of the suit that make it warm, flexible and water repellent. First and foremost is the water repellent outer lining on the suit. Basically it's kind of like Scotch Guard almost. It's like a water repellent fibre that you use on the outside of the suit, and if you will put water onto it, it just sort of kind of rolls off basically. It's really impressive when you first get the suit, but I have found it's kind of something that does wear off in time, but I guess it still does retain your water repellent properties, but they do sort of tend to fade in time. But how much difference it makes, because it keeps so much water out anyway, I don't know. It's kind of might be one of those kind of more gimmicky things, but it certainly does help in terms of keeping the water out of the wetsuit and keeping it lighter in the water. You now have what we call like a V-foam inside their suit. The V-foam is the actual sort of construction of the suit. That's the whole way through, and it's extremely light and flexible, the V-foam. I reckon it's their lightest foam yet, and basically that will just mean, again, that just promotes lighter, more flexibility, a better feeling wetsuit. And then third and foremost, you've got the quick dry polypro, or sort of the quick dry material inside the suit, which allows the suit to dry quicker and insulates you as well. I'll turn the suit inside out so you better see that. A lot of the suits have got that this year. You know, obviously you've got the Ripco Flash Bomb. The first guys to introduce that technology, and this is essentially another version of that, basically that furry backcombed polypro, which runs through the suit and keeps you really warm, but also dries quickly. Something you also get with this suit is obviously you get the stitchless technology, fusion seam welding on the outside of the suit, and then taped on the inside of the suit, basically, which means you don't have any stitching, which again means more flexibility, more durability through the seams, and less likely to get water into the suit as well. And then you couple that with the chest zip system, which is water repellent, the closed-in cuffs, the airprene chest panel, which is basically air-insulated neoprene, and you've got one seriously sort of warm and dry wetsuit. Essentially, it's almost like a semi-dry suit, you know, because if you wear a suit like this and it does fit well, and all the seals are good around your neck, and it fits under your armpits well, around your waist, around your wrists well, you're pretty much not going to get much water into the suit unless you're falling off a high speed and you get like a real serious sort of flush through, which is inevitable when you're sort of surfing or doing anything basically. But you know, essentially it should keep most of the water out of this suit, and it is going to be really warm. So in a little bit more depth, I'll go through the different features of the suit then. Okay, the V-foam runs the whole way through. That's in the centre of the suit. It's essentially the neoprene. Basically is a very aerated neoprene, so lots of air inside the neoprene, which makes it lighter, makes it better at insulating you because it traps all that hot air and then insulates you, makes it lighter, and it makes it more flexible as well. Okay, so that's the whole way through the V-foam. And then you've got the quick dry outer lining. Apparently it is woven into the fibre, so it's like the outer jersey is water repellent, and that's the whole way through the suit. Right front and back, basically, and that will just basically mean that any water that comes in contact, instead of rather being absorbed into the suit, is repelled, keeping the suit lighter and keeping more flexible in the water. Big hoo-ha about that over the last few years, the sort of water repellent technology, but it's kind of died down a bit now because it is kind of a short-lived, gimmicky kind of thing. But essentially anything that can keep the suit lighter in the water for longer is not a bad thing. And then once I turn the suit inside out, I'll be able to show you the quick dry lining, which is the sort of backcombed fleecy stuff, become a little bit more evident. But something that's worth noting with the suit, that you actually get the standard sort of features on the outside of the suit. Then the yellow taping is what you call the fusion seam welded technology. Basically that is, as I said before, the two pieces of neoprene, I'll bring it closer, are butted up together, and what they do, if I turn that inside out for you, they glue it together, and then they use a flat sort of like a rubbery taping. It's not rubber, it's very soft. It's kind of unique to Xcel, this taping. And basically they put that on the inside of the suit so it's nice and flat against your skin and comfortable. It just reinforces it as well. On the outside they use this super thin taping just to go over the seam, just to make it more durable, less likely to pull apart, but also it's less restrictive and less sort of cumbersome than the previous liquid welding. And that's the whole way through the outside of the suit. Everything has got like the little critical tapings here as well. One that's close to the screen here, that's the closed in cuff, or the half moon cuff basically. Again, just creates a nice tight seal around your wrist, less likely to get water flush throughs up the wrist, and keeps water out of the suit a bit better as well. Okay, all of this kind of stuff's thought of with the Xcel suit. You get a smooth skin panel on the chest here. Basically that is wind repellent sort of smooth material, keeps the wind out of the core of the suit, get on the front and the back. And what they do with this, they mix in that airprene as well. So again, this is a previous sort of technology, has come to wetsuit technology and it's been sort of pioneered by O'Neill, but is now available in most other suits. And basically that is like a middle layer of this sort of panel of neoprene, basically has potholes in it. And what those potholes do is they trap warm air as it leaves your body, and then use that warm air to insulate you by trapping it inside the suit. It does work really well, and that's basically on the inside of the chest panel and on inside the back panel there as well. Okay. Further down on the legs, you've got sort of the embossed back of the knees there, just to make sure that there's no restriction on the back of the knee. It allows you to sort of bend and ease, promotes a bit more dynamic movement through the suit. While on the front of the knee here, you've got what we call a Duraflex knee pad. Slightly oversized when they're sewn in, so they puff up and fit your knee a bit better, and again it just sort of locks onto your body a bit better. And then further down suit, as I said before, you've got the nice chunky neoprene. Now some companies do basically say that the wetsuits are 5mm, but they might not be, whereas Xcel seems to be thicker than 5mm to me. Even measured that, it's probably more like 6 or 7, but that is going to keep you super warm. Okay, so that's essentially most things going on the outside of the suit. If we move it up to the chest zip system, and the chest zip system is the Drylock system here basically. It's a waterproof zip. You've got it, even the toggle is kind of like a waterproof plastic material, really robust, and it opens from outside to in. Okay, it's quite a short zip, which basically means it's locked down on this side and it's sewn over the top of the wetsuit and sealed. So water cannot get in anywhere apart from possibly here on the side of the suit, but then you've got the toggle to fasten and a smooth skin material there just to make sure that that's pretty much impossible anyway. Okay, and so the zip's quite short. Downside of this is there's not a huge amount of room to get in through the top of the suit, so it is a hard suit to get in and out of. But the reason they do that is because it's all about keeping water out of the suit. So the harder it is for you to get into, then the harder it is for the water to get into, basically in theory. But that chest zip goes over the top, fastens across the front, and then toggles in there basically. Waterproof zip, everything's thought of, so no water is going to get through the zip. Any water that does come in through the side or through the collar of the wetsuit is then met in with these high pieces of neoprene here, which then seal around your sort of collar of the suit. Pushed down by the chest zip, which goes over the top. Any water that comes in through the collar basically goes into the chest zip system and then is drained out through the side of the wetsuit there. Okay, so everything's thought of basically. Even inside the collar, you've got a smooth skin material, and that smooth material basically seals against your neck better, stops any rash and rub, and will do a great job at keeping water out of the wetsuit as well. Okay, that goes up and over your head. You get a key loop inside the suit as well, just in case you want to keep your key inside the neck. That's something Xcel have always done. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is going to turn the suit inside out for you. I'll be back in a second just to show you what's happening inside the suit. Hi there, so welcome back. Turn the suit inside out for you to see what's going on inside the Xcel suit. Okay, so there's quite a lot of different panels inside the suit. I'll just sort of talk you through what they are. First thing you'll notice basically is this kind of like crisscross pattern where it looks like it's been lying on an instant barbecue. And basically that is Xcel's version of the quick dry polypro lining, which is also these days obviously in the Rip Curl flash dry. It's also in the Seaskin suits and a few other people who sort of paid for this technology and introduced it into their wetsuits. So bonuses of it, obviously it's a quick drying material and will dry in sort of about 15 minutes, and that means that you don't have to put on a cold wet wetsuit for your second surf if you're using the same suit. Another thing about it is obviously that furry, fluffy material feels good against the skin, and also it's very good at insulating you and retaining heat inside the wetsuit, much like thermal underwear. That sort of fleecy lining is really good at that. There's two kind of types of it here. You've got the back home stuff, which is the fluffy stuff here on the chest panel, and you get it around the back as well. But further down the suit is the more standard quick dry thermal lining. Now, you might be thinking this basically like a cheaper type of thermal lining, but it's not. Essentially, it's the same kind of thing, but just hasn't been back combed, basically. So it's just as good as insulating you. Might not particularly dry as quickly, but having said that, I find that this stuff dries pretty much as quickly as the back comb stuff anyway. And it's just as good, apparently, if not better, at insulating you. So the sort of tighter coils within that sort of material seem to apparently insulate you even better than the standard sort of back comb stuff. So you can see that, and then you've got the sort of furry stuff up there. So it's an interesting point. Okay, and you get that right the way through the suit. You get that the whole way through the sort of chest panel here, right the way through down to the knees. So there's a huge amount of thermal lining, okay, within the suit. Moving up to the top of the suit then, that black stuff is just a standard super stretch neoprene, the V-foam inside. And then this taping is what we call the fusion weld taping. So I showed you that briefly before. That just reinforces the seams. It's almost like a rubbery sort of material, but has a huge amount of stretch in it. No restriction there like the liquid taping. Completely flat against your skin, won't feel uncomfortable in any way, shape or form, and very, very strong at reinforcing the wetsuit. As you move further down the wetsuit, the taping then becomes, I guess it's because of the different types of materials that they're using, they had to use different kind of taping, which isn't so rubbery. It's more like a traditional kind of like a wetsuit tape on the inside of the wetsuit there. It gets quite wide around the crotch, that taping actually, but I guess that's just wanting to make sure that the suit is nice and well reinforced. Okay, and then further down on the ankles you get more of the ultra stretch neoprene, okay, which basically just means it's easy to get your foot through. And one of the nice little touches which I like, you get a big sort of circle of the rubber around the ankle piece there, basically, just to make sure the ankle doesn't blast back, open up and let loads of water in if you fall off. It just creates a better seal around your ankle. It should be really good for people that are windsurfing, kite surfing, that kind of stuff as well. Quite useful. Okay, so that's pretty much everything going on with the Drylock. The TD3 technology, so the three-pronged, basically, thermal defence against cold and water penetration. You've got the quick dry lining the whole way through the suit, fusion welded seams to stop, basically for flexibility and stop any water getting in the suit. You've got the water repellent fibre on the outside of the wetsuit. You've got the air insulated chest panels on the wetsuit as well. And then obviously you've got the sort of quick, the thermal, the Drylock collar as well to keep water out. So the Drylock chest entry system, and then basically you've got the V-foam as well inside the wetsuit, which is the super lightweight neoprene. So it'd be interesting to see what people think. You know, with a £380 suit. So plus points of the Xcel suit, basically you get every kind of bit of wetsuit technology that's available at the moment to keep you warm, keep it flexible, keep your water out of the wetsuit and keep it sort of lightweight and flexible as well as being very, very warm. Also another plus point, the suit looks good and the warranty on Xcel suits is fantastic. Downside is the price point. £380 costs as much as basically a decent car probably would do. But it's going to keep you warmer in the water than a car would do, especially a £380 car. But yeah, kind of a downside of the suit, has become really, really expensive, pretty much one of the most expensive wetsuits on the market. And it is hard to get in and out of, okay? There's no doubt about that compared to other wetsuits. Having said that, you know, people that spending this kind of money on a wetsuit, getting in and out of the wetsuit might not be too much of too much of compensation for really, really good warmth when the water temperature is down to like 4 or 5 degrees. So yeah, that's everything going on inside the Xcel Drylock wetsuit, and it basically does what it says on the tin. Extremely warm, dry wetsuit, which you have to pay for.